What's up, everybody? It's Scody. Welcome back to the channel. So as of the time of this recording, it is April 19th, 2026, which means tomorrow is 420 Blaze It! Haha! No, actually, it is the 1-year anniversary of this YouTube channel. I uploaded the first video, the first episode of Alone in the Dark 2024 last year, April 20th, 2025. And I figured I would take a moment just kind of talk about the channel, myself, and just kind of reflect on this past year, I guess, you know? I don't really have anything coherent and cohesive put together to say, so I'm just gonna yap. I do it pretty well, and we'll see where my meandering takes us. So to start, me starting this channel was kind of like a, I guess a challenge to myself, a little bit, sort of, or more like a project, I guess, with a small element of challenge. I've done YouTube in the past, previously under the name Cody Toaster. I did some Let's Plays. I did a couple of like video essay, specific subject matter kind of videos talking about like GTA Online, Fortnite, which I'm not even really a fan of, and that was kind of a challenge to myself to see if I could make a video that was highlighting things I thought was cool about it and talking about it from like a non-fan perspective. And so anyways, YouTube has been something I've flirted with a lot, and it's something I always come back to wanting to do. You know, I came up watching originally Angry Video Game Nerd, still a huge fan of James Rolfe. I think he's an incredible guy. I think he's just honestly passionate about all the things that he does, and he showed me that you could do stuff on YouTube talking about cool stuff like video games. And then a few years later, I found PewDiePie. I was a huge PewDiePie fan. I couldn't get enough of PewDiePie's horror game Let's Plays back in like, I think it was 2012 when I found him. So for years, oh my God, I was a PewDiePie mega fan. And eventually I ended up finding John Wolfe, who I respect so much. I think he is incredible. I think he's an honest, down-to-earth, intelligent guy, and I loved watching him play video games for years. I don't really watch Let's Plays anymore. Kind of slowed down before I even started doing Scody, but now that I'm doing Scody especially, there's a huge overlap with the kind of games I prefer to play and the kind of content creators I prefer to watch when it comes to playing video games anyways, which is to say indie horror games, AAA horror games. It's horror. Come on, it's what I play. I like horror games. It's not the only thing I play. I have thought a lot about playing non-horror games, but you know, you hear from everyone, oh my God, don't you stick to one genre or just one game in general, that you'll confuse the algorithm. People will never find your channel. It makes no sense. It's YouTube channel suicide. Don't go from playing horror games to playing something like Crimson Desert or Power Wash Simulator or American Truck Simulator, you know, like things that I play casually outside of the channel. So, you know, out of fear of ruining my chances of ever having like an audience and people who I can communicate with and relate to and even make friends with, hopefully, you know, I've stuck to just doing horror to please the algorithm. So for years, again, just kind of flirted around with YouTube. I'd start something and give up immediately. I would get inside my head and I would, you know, convince myself I would never be able to find an audience, or what I was doing, it wasn't good enough, or you know, I've always had an issue with that, the perfectionism, I guess, is in that everything I do, it never really feels good enough. And then whenever you do something creative that you're putting in front of an audience, then I tend to get carried away with the analytical side of things. I will obsess over the numbers. And when you're a small content creator, dude, that's like the stupidest thing that you can do, is obsess over the numbers. Being on the YouTube Studio app, or when I streamed on Twitch, just constantly looking at my numbers and obsessing about viewers. I would constantly, in the middle of a stream, just constantly check my viewer count, I would even disable the viewer count, no BS, and then inevitably I would turn it back on because it would literally just bug me so much. So I found myself on the wrong side of creative endeavors in that I had none. I had no creative endeavors. As someone who's always been a creative person since I was a teenager, I played music for years, I've done YouTube, I've tried writing stories and stuff. The point is, I've always been a creative person, and I haven't had any creative projects for the last several years. So I basically said, screw it. What do I have to lose? Okay, I'll I'll commit to this for a year. I'll do YouTube for a year. I'll upload at least one video a week, and I'll see if I like it. I'll see if I enjoy it. Then if I decide not to do it after that, I can't say, oh man, I did a few videos and gave up. I suck. It's like, I'll give it a real genuine effort. And so I have, my goal was 52 videos. I think I've well exceeded that, especially if you group in shorts and the long form videos together. I've taken a few breaks. Some things were outside of my control, and some I just knew it would make my life a little bit easier if I pulled back a little bit. And that's a whole nother thing I could get into. The whole taking the YouTube thing too seriously. I've always been someone who can get obsessive over analytics, and equally, I can get burnt out on things really, really easily because I always have, and I was like this whenever I played music for years too, and I became a songwriter. I would always have this imaginary audience in my head, and I would always be thinking about everything I'm creating. I'll always be thinking about, what does this imaginary audience think of it? Is it good enough? Is it professional enough? Is it clean enough? Does it represent me? Does it make me look talented? Does it make me look special and unique like a little snowflake? And that is like, they say comparison is the thief of joy. Well, that shit right there is also the thief of joy, because I have killed so many exciting creative projects, endeavors, pursuits, whatever in my life through that line of thinking, that imaginary audience that's always there. And like this, and it's funny too, the perfectionism side of it, because oh my God, if there is one person who is not equipped in any way, shape or form to be a perfectionist, it's me. I'm basically a jack of all trades, master of none, and I really don't have any room to be pushing myself to these unrealistic expectations of perfectionism. Not that anyone can even attain that to begin with. And so with that said, it's even affected Scody quite a few times, to where I will hold myself to some standard or expectation that I don't really want to do, and then it makes me stop enjoying doing this, and then I start to procrastinate. I don't release whenever I intend to. I've had a really fluid, weird schedule, and it's basically because every other month I'll try something new. Okay, maybe I'll upload one video and I'll upload it on Wednesday or Sunday. Okay, maybe no, instead I'll do 2 videos and I'll upload on Monday and Wednesday, or Wednesday and Friday, or Tuesday and Thursday, things like that. And I'm always trying something new with the channel to try to see what works best. But then oddly enough, whenever I try to stick to a schedule, I get kind of itchy. It's because I try to treat this as professionally as I am capable of doing, and it's stupid, honestly. This is not my job. This is a hobby. It's a project that I'm working on. I do not get paid for this. I don't have any boss to answer to. I don't answer to YouTube. I don't answer to some manager. I answer only to myself. And the whole appeal of doing this initially was to find an outlet to play horror games, very specifically horror games, and hopefully find like-minded people out on the internet who might want to gather around, almost like a campfire kind of situation where we're gathered around, but instead of scary stories I'm telling, I'm playing the scary game, and we're all hanging out and watching it, and we're all commenting on it, we're all having fun, maybe we're giving each other shit. More realistically, it's you guys giving me shit. And it's, even though I've yet to really achieve that, considering my audience is still very small, I think at the time of recording right now, I'm sitting at 48 subscribers, which, do not get me wrong, that is mind-blowing. I remember thinking I will be lucky if I roll into the 1-year anniversary having 20 subscribers. I have over double that now. I am almost at 50 subscribers in my first year, and that is absolutely incredible. And it's in large part to the shorts, honestly. I wish there was a bigger appeal for the long form videos, but I get it. We live in a dopamine fueled, attention span shortened age. I don't even know if that made sense, but it's just the way that things are with TikTok and YouTube shorts and Instagram stories and all these things. It's short form content. So, you gotta kind of play the cards that you've been dealt. And I'm very grateful that I even have that option to have gained any subscribers at all, because before I did shorts, it was very slow. Nobody was subscribing to the channel. My view count was very, very small. And I think in part due to shorts, and also just because of games being kind of, topical and popular at the time. I've had a Silent Hill F video shoot up to over 100 views. I've had the finale of Resident Evil Village shoot up to 255 views. And that's a drop in a bucket compared to other content creators who do this for a living or have been doing it for years and years and years. But to me, that's huge, man. 255 views on a video, that might as well be 10,000, because I have grown this naturally. I've told people in my life, in my personal life, that I do YouTube. I don't tell them the channel name. I don't link them to it because I don't want their subscriptions. I want to grow this channel organically, let the algorithm put me in front of people who naturally watch this kind of content. I don't want the well wishes of a cousin or an aunt or an uncle or a friend who go subscribe. They watch 5 minutes of one video. They know it's not for them. They just want to be supportive and they never watch my stuff again. And then the algorithm is just like, okay, well, this is weird. So who do I put Scoty's shit in front of? I don't know. This person watched 5 minutes and now they're watching racing videos or hunting videos or bushcraft survival videos. I've tried to just grow this organically. Man, God, I'm yapping. Guys, I'm yapping. I have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. I feel like I'm hitting points that I wanted to hit in my mind, and instead of like hitting them kind of and keeping it very short and succinct, it's just I'll hit the point and then it expands into this massive nebulous thing that I'm just yapping around. It's just a bunch of hot air around the key point. What does the future of Scody look like for the 1.5 of you? I don't know how there's a half of you. You know, no judgment. You do you. For the 1.5 of you out there who care, what happens next? Well, I'm going to tell you right now, playing Resident Evil Village and then Requiem back to back. Wow, that has burnt me the hell out. Okay, I finished, Village was how many videos? I don't even remember at this point. Let me look real quick. Okay, so I finished Village in 10 videos. Requiem ended up being 15. The most recent one is episode 10. So, and I've got 4 more to edit. Point being, that's 25 videos to cover only 2 games over the span of almost 3 months. I think I started Village at the end of January. Yeah, the first episode of Village was January 26th. It is April 19th again. That's a lot of Resident Evil, and I'm a psychopath, and after I started Requiem and started getting super into it, I went and bought the Resident Evil 1 remake, you know, the old one that they ported to Steam in 2015. I bought Resident Evil 0. I already have Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes. I bought Resident Evil 4 remake. I bought Resident Evil 7, and I was like, I'm just gonna make 2026 the year of Resident Evil. I'm gonna play through all the Resident Evil games for the YouTube channel. Fuck no, dude. No. Listen, I am going to take a break for now from these super long episodic playthroughs of games that are 10 plus episodes long. It's just too long. And you know, and that's even going back further. Before I took a 2-month break during the holidays, the last game I'd played before Village was Silent Hill F, and that was like 7 or 8 episodes long. So I did pair that weekly with other content and stuff. I was playing lots of like indie horror games and stuff beside that, but it's just a lot. So my initial outlook for 2026, again, was going to be a lot of Resident Evil games. I also had the Fatal Frame 2 remake lined up. I've already bought it. I haven't even played it yet, and I eventually will, but I am going to pivot away from doing all these multi-episode playthroughs of games, and I'm just gonna play some shorter indie horror games for a while. I have a lot of stuff in my back library on Steam. There's lots of really exciting, cool looking games on itch.io that I found recently that I really would like to play. So that is what I'm gonna be doing. So Scody will continue for at least another year. I mean, at least another year, I guess. And I want to get back to kind of the original core concept of what Scody was. When I started this, I was just very awkward. I mean, if you guys want to know the truth, those first like 4 or 5 episodes of Alone in the Dark, I was very nervous. I felt very awkward, and I would make myself a glass of whiskey and start drinking to kind of ease the anxiety around recording. And that would basically screw me over because I was recording 1 episode a week. So there would be a whole almost 7-day gap between whenever I would play the game. On top of having drank whiskey while playing the week previous, I wouldn't remember like anything that happened like from the week before until I would be getting in the game playing, and things would start kind of jog my memory. And if you've seen those episodes, you'll hear it. I'll be like, oh man, I don't really remember. Oh man, I kind of forgot that happened. And I would just blame it on, I guess I should play this game more than once a week. But it wasn't just the time gap. It was also the whiskey. After I got over that initial little awkward hump, I got the webcam introduced and stuff, and my personality started coming out more. I was really leaning into like the comedy of the channel, trying to be funny, accentuating parts that I find funny in my recordings, using famous meme sound effects or references to famous vines or memes or things that I think are funny, like using that clip from Are You Afraid of the Dark where the kid just goes, the basement? Stuff like that. And I feel like as I got back to doing this channel after the holidays, I kind of started taking it a little bit more serious. I was like, I really want to hit it hard playing the Resident Evil games. I really want to like grow the channel. I want to do shorts. I want to find an audience. Because again, it's like anyone who's making content for the internet, you want an audience. You want to see number go up, right? But really at the core for me, what's behind that, besides like growing the channel and like the dream of, oh my God, what if I could do YouTube full time one day? I mean, that's a fucking pipe dream and more than likely will never happen. And that's fine, because the other core piece of it is I just want like-minded people to talk about video games with. That's it. Listen, people in my personal life, they know I will talk their damn ears off of their heads about the lore of Alan Wake or the lore of Resident Evil or the lore of Silent Hill. Like, that is my bread and butter, baby. Point being is I started taking things more seriously. I stopped doing the kind of meme-y stuff, the sound effects, the funny accentuation of like funny moments that moments I think are funny in my videos. And I kind of told myself, it's like, I don't want to be the class clown. I want to be taken more seriously. And I've gone back and I've watched some of my old episodes and it just kind of like pulled at my heartstrings, made me nostalgic. Even though it's less than a year old, it's like, it made me nostalgic. It's like, oh man, I could tell I was having a lot of fun. I was having fun playing these little random indie horror games like Crowded Followed or the freaking Creepy Shift games or Forest Service Rangers. Or Forest Ranger Services, FRS, I don't remember, whatever that one's called. Those two episodes, I mean, they're pretty fun. But point being is I've went from that to just taking things way more seriously and not really like laughing as much and just kind of just playing the game. And then playing these games where I have 15 episodes to edit through. I literally have not recorded, again, April 19th right now. The last time that I recorded for this channel was a month ago, March 19th. March 19th, it has been 1 month since I recorded because I have been editing and slowly releasing Requiem on my, at most, 2 video a week schedule, whereas most content creators on YouTube finished Requiem and uploaded it within 2 weeks of the game coming out. And that kind of brings me to another point. I think in the future, whenever I get back to playing these longer games that are going to take multiple episodes, I'm going to do like 3-hour long videos. Will that hurt the viewership, the retention rate? Yeah, probably. Will it hurt my fucking sanity? No. You mean to tell me if I would have done 3-hour long videos with Requiem, I would have had 5 or 6 videos to edit? Sure, they are longer, but still the goalpost is moved a lot closer at 5 or 6 videos versus 15 damn videos. That is, it's just been a lot. I feel like it's not been enjoyable because it's not been funny. I've not been trying to accentuate the humor in any of it. I've just kind of been there playing the game, yapping, talking. Whereas in the past, when I would edit videos, I found it fun and engaging to find places to throw in sound effects or zoom the camera in dramatically or put in a fart sound effect, whatever, you know. I always enjoyed that a lot, and it made the editing side of things, which can be so monotonous and so boring and mind-numbing, it actually made it enjoyable. That's what 2026 into 2027 is going to look like for Scody. I'm taking a break from long games. I'm going to start playing some shorter indie horror games. I also haven't even mentioned this yet. I kind of want to do this more. Just talking head video. Just me just talking about a topic, you know? So all that. And I want to get back to focusing on the humor. I want to have fun because I'm not getting paid to do this, as I've said. There's no incentive to do this beyond whatever incentive I create for myself. And that incentive I want, the incentive that I want is for it to be fun. So yeah, 1 year anniversary, pretty crazy. Like I'll be really vulnerable with you guys. It's always been my dream to do YouTube full time. The creators, the YouTubers, who I've looked up to over the years have been some of the people I admire the most on the internet. You know, just bearing themselves, making people laugh, bringing people together, giving people a place to go on the internet to gather around and enjoy something together as a group. And I bought into that shit wholesale time and time again. I was one of those people who was just one of the onlookers, part of the group, enjoying the thing with everybody else. So I'm here doing it now. It's slow. Short form content is all the rage now, but I'm hoping that over time I will bring people together and we can all enjoy this together. So here's to 1 year. Here's also to the oncoming year. And I hope whenever I make the year 2 anniversary video, I hope we have a bigger community of people who want to engage and be a part of it. Not for me to make money, not for a number go up, none of that. It's because I want to connect with other people in the world. It gets lonely up here at the top. I'm just kidding. I'm a fucking 36-year-old janitor. I'm not on top. The only thing I'm on top of is the doctor's pile of shit in the toilet that I have to clean at a doctor's office 3 times a week. So yeah, there you go. Anyways, guys, if you have watched any of my videos, shorts, long form, it doesn't matter. Over this last year, it means a lot to me. Thank you. Genuinely, thank you so much. Consider liking the video, consider subscribing, considering checking out some of my playlist. And you know, one of the biggest things, and I used to say this and I don't say it anymore, is if you have any game suggestions, if there is anything in the world you would want me to check out, any games you'd like to see played, let me know in the comments. Shoot me a line, okay? Let me know, because I will look into anything you throw at me, and I probably will prioritize that over my huge and ever expanding back library of games. So, all right, I'm done yapping. I hope that when I edit this, it's actually coherent and it's not just an absolute exhausting mess of a video. So guys, thank you for 1 year. I appreciate every single one of you. I've been Scody. You guys have been incredible, and I'll see you soon. Bye.